Ed from Pinball Mayhem here. Just a quick update on Frenzy. Working on the wiring. I got the transformer painted like Ken suggested. Thank you. That's a good idea. Looks great. What I did is I taped off the wiring, and or sprayed it with that flat black. Now, one thing, I used the painter's tape, but also to make it less tacky on this older stuff. If you put it against your pant leg, pull it off, put it on, it's even more less tacky, so it's going to be less likely to stick and pull anything off. I also use just a quick Scotch-Brite to rub anything loose off of here and get in there with with a little pick, just to make sure there's nothing loose that I was sealing into the board. As you may be able to see, I got all the boards are all mounted. This is using the original standoffs. These are using arcade feet, and this is our regulator. That's all mounted. This is mounted about the same place. I used the original board for the measurement. I have the strap on the back that it locks in with. I got the lock, and I got the runner on the bottom. Now I may have drilled those holes just a hair off. This is just a hair too high for my comfort, so I'm just going to put a little washer between these two bolts still before I install it. I also have to finish off this front edge with a strip of weather stripping and staples. There's staples every like 4 or 5 inches just to keep that weather stripping from falling off. That's so that if you move the game, it doesn't bang into the door. It's actually being held pretty tightly. I was lucky enough where I actually have a full schematic and manual set for Berzerk. Came with some arcade parts I bought. This is really part of the key I'm using, along with the PDF that came with the Berzerk Frenzy board. And using those files, I'm able to get my connectors put together. I was originally going to connect headers on and get Z connectors. I'm just not able to find Z connectors cheap enough right now. I'm not spending $10 for a 24 pin. Essentially, it's going to cost me $24 or $20 just for these Zs, which is just going to be ridiculous. So right now, I'm just going to solder headers on, and this is an arcade machine. It's not going to be unplugged and plugged 100 times, so hopefully we're going to be good to go. After I got all this mounted, what I did is I checked my voltages, and by hooking up to my ground and my 5 volt, powered it on with this plug off. Made sure I got, you want to be by about 0.2 from 5 volts. I wanted to be at 5.2, so I was in that range. I was at 5.17. Plugged this in, and I also plugged the board monitor cable in. That's the only one I had plugged in. So I plugged the board monitor in. I forget which one of these it is, and powered it on. I got something on the screen. The rest of the wiring wasn't done at that time, and my voltage still sat at about 5.14. I'm happy with that. I want to be a little higher than 5 because you're going to lose some in your connectors and your harness. If I really wanted to get strict, I could have measured it on the chip. On a normal arcade, you measure it from the farthest away from the connector. This is a small enough board. New electronics, we're robust. We should be fine there. So that's a little more heat shrink to do here. Work, but that's what this looks like. There's a couple wires here which I'm going to remove when I get all done and tested. There's some wires that they don't use on these connections, which I might end up throwing in there for like the illumination of the coin door lights, the windows that say quarter on them. The board only needs ground and 5 volts. I put the 12 and the -5 on just because I have the wires here, have the connections, no big deal. They're not hooked up on this side, but the 12 has an extra wire coming off of it, which is not going anywhere right now, which I'm going to use for the illumination of the coin door windows. Those are 12 volt. Even though they look like a standard pinball ball that you can put a 5 volt in, it's going to be very bright for a very short period of time. One thing I want to show you quickly is here's the rest of the schematics I ended up with that from that operator. I got some pinball parts, and I have a Berzerk monitor bezel in pretty decent shape. I'm actually, because I really like Berzerk artwork better than Frenzy, I'm thinking about putting this in and the marquee just for reference. Let's see. That's what the game looks like now. So I think I might I gotta get a new marquee no matter what. So I think I might end up going with putting the Berzerk stuff in. It's pretty easy to swap it out. And so I actually would really like your opinion. So down below. Please put a comment. What do you think? I mean, control panel should work with both. I'm more of a Berzerk guy. I haven't actually ever played Frenzy. I'm going to play it pretty soon here. And let me know. Hopefully the next video, everything's done. The game's all put together and we're doing gameplay. I'll show an inside view of how the wires and everything routed. But that's my goal. Thank you for watching and make sure to subscribe.